turmoil here in Washington. The House Speaker Mike Johnson's fight to avoid a government shutdown just hit a major snag as Donald Trump joined the conservative revolt against this funding bill. Our chief congressional correspondent, Manu Raju, is up on Capitol Hill, and CNN's Kristen Holmes has details on all of Trump's latest dramatic moves. Manu, we're awaiting an update, first of all, from the House Democratic leadership. But what's the latest on the Hill, and is Speaker Johnson in trouble?
Yeah, Trump's 11th hour demand wolf has sent Washington scrambling. They looked like they were on a glide path to pass a bill to keep the government open past Friday up until March 14th. But in the 11th hour, Donald Trump has come out opposing the plan, bashing the deal that Mike Johnson cut with congressional leaders and contending that it should also include an increase to the national debt limit. Remember, the debt limit is an incredibly complex negotiation that typically takes months and months to resolve. Trump wants this off the table now. He says, why deal with it now when Joe Biden is in office? Add it to what Congress is dealing with and get it off their plate. He's also criticizing deals.
So as you just saw, we are close to a government shutdown at this moment, mostly because of Donald Trump as well as Elon Musk. So I'm looking at some reporting now from the New York Times. And late last night, we had a vote on a bill put forward by Speaker Mike Johnson, who is the Republican leader of the House. He put forward a bill which would essentially fund the government through early next year. However, it failed mostly because of right-wing lawmakers who balked at increasing the government spending limit. So they've always pushed for this the past several years. Every time we've had a spending bill, it's been delayed until the last moment, and it's mostly because of these far-right lawmakers who do not want to increase the spending. They want to pair it with any kind of cuts to offset any spending increases. At the behest of the debt, they claim that, you know, it's the biggest issue we are facing. So if we're going to pass any kind of spending bill, we have to offset the cost by cutting some other programs. The vote was 174 to 235. One person voted present. Almost all Democrats voted no on the bill, and 38 Republicans joined in with them. So that's why it was a 174 to 235 vote. Also, according to this article, it would some of the details of the bill would extended the government funding at current levels through mid-March, so it wouldn't increase any funding. It would just continue the funding because it's about to expire. However, it would also provide $100 billion in disaster aid, you know, for the likes of Hurricane Helene, Hurricane Milton, and as well as $10 billion in direct payments to farmers. So it would have also extended the farming bill for a year. So we had a bill for the farm industry that was going to expire at the end of this year, and it would have extended that for 1 year. Now, the biggest change of the bill that did not pass last night was there was an addition of a 2-year suspension of the debt ceiling. So as you saw in that video, the reporter talked about how Donald Trump was actually pushing for the debt ceiling to be increased under Biden, because if later on, you know, you're probably going to have some increased deficits under Trump, just like his first term, he can use that to blame it on Biden, that this giant spending bill was passed under him, so it's his fault for any kind of debt increase. So that's one of the strategic points he's taking, and that he actually wants this debt ceiling to be increased, just because it'll look bad for Democrats in the future, or at least he'll try to push it as the Democrats' fault. And I'm about to go into another article from the New York Times that talks about Elon Musk's influence on this. This is a person who is the richest person in the world, worth over $400 billion, who is unelected but is very close to Trump at the moment. He was just reported yesterday as attending a dinner with Donald Trump. He was originally not even invited, but he showed up kind of in the middle of it, as well as he joined a dinner not only with Donald Trump, but with Jeff Bezos, because we have all these billionaire tech leaders joining Trump and trying to suck up to him to hopefully get some favors under his administration. So like I was saying, Elon Musk had a big part of basically destroying this bill's chances at being passed. He, along with Donald Trump, came out and spoke down upon the bill, say we don't need to pass this. He also, apparently, according to the New York Times, he posted more than 150 separate posts on Twitter, starting before dawn on Wednesday, saying that Republicans need to back away from this deal. And he also not only did that, but he said that if they did not vote against the bill, he would vow political retribution against them. So Mike Johnson actually came out and called on Musk on Wednesday to ask that he stop posting about this bill. But ultimately, it didn't stop it, and the bill did not pass. He also ended up spreading a bunch of misinformation about the bill. So in some of the tweets, he claimed that the bill would contain $3 billion in funds for a new stadium in Washington, as well as new aid for Ukraine. There was aid passed for Ukraine several months ago in a separate funding bill, and we're still doling out amounts at different times to help the Ukrainian effort against Russia, but there was no new aid contained in this spending package. So, like I've said before, Donald Trump is not elected. He's an unelected official, but he's been around Trump ever since he's been elected. He spent hundreds of millions of dollars helping his campaign. And, obviously he owns Twitter or X and has a huge following on there. So he has a lot of influence. And a lot of lawmakers do not like this fact. There's been a lot of backlash behind the scenes of people who are apparently recoiling at his interference in the legislative process, which I agree with. Whether you're Republican or Democrat, these people should not be involved in these negotiations. If you're not elected, why are you coming in and pushing so hard on these bills, whether they pass or not? And it's kind of funny, there's all these conspiracies about the Democratic elite controlling what we do in our country. There's a secret cabal of them, when Elon Musk is the most obvious one out there who has an oversized influence on our politics. He's the one who owns Twitter, owns a private social media company. It was originally public under Jack Dorsey. He bought it, made it private. It's turned into like a right-wing cesspool. And then he spent hundreds of millions of dollars on Trump's campaign, helping him get elected. There's a lot of influence that he has on Trump. A lot of the reason why he wants so much power is through his companies like SpaceX and all that. There's all these government regulations on them. He wants to be in Trump's ear, as well as have outsized influence on these regulatory agencies and giving his own companies favorable outcomes, which is obviously seen. But the right wing, they love Elon Musk. They don't speak out about him having all this influence over our political system, yet Jeff Bezos and all these other corrupt, rich, liberal elite billionaires are controlling the system, and Joe Biden's not even the president. He's just a puppet with them controlling him behind the scenes. So we will see what happens as we go forward. The government shutdown very well could happen. I will personally say that I've been tracking this as it happened in the last few years, where we had all these deadlines going all the way up until the last minute, with spending bills not being passed up until that last minute. So it's possible that today, Friday, before midnight, they could pass some bill that stripped back of everything except just keeping the government funded through the next several months. And then once Republicans fully take control, once Donald Trump is in office, then they can fight amongst themselves on what they want to do. But who knows what's going to happen? I mean, now we have Elon Musk in the fold. In the past, Donald Trump would always push these ideas of just not funding the government. But now you have two oversized people working together on this front. Who knows what's going to happen? If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe below. I will be giving updates on what goes forward on this matter. And yeah, thank you for watching.